What is up, guys? Welcome to my trailer breakdown for The Flash, Season 4, Episode 13, titled True Colors. But before the breakdown, let's watch the trailer.
We don't seem to have Barry.
Unfortunately, you won't be able to see your husband today.
What?
I'm not about to let Amunet turn me into a weaponized slave.
Trust me.
Come on, let's move.
Is he safe?
Oh, he couldn't be more safe. Barry's completely unharmed. You can rest easy. He's in good hands.
The Flash, all new this Tuesday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
This episode directly follows the ending of last episode where Barry is outed as the Flash, or at least only to Warden Wolf. He knows he's the Flash, and he's trying to sell him to Amunet Black, aka Blacksmith. This episode continues that was a twist that I really didn't expect. In my synopsis breakdown for this video, for this episode, I expected it to be a pretty boring episode with Amunet Black, but with Barry being sold to her, it makes this episode so much more interesting than I expected it to be. I just didn't expect it to be that interesting because Amunet Black is a pretty bad villain, but with this twist that Barry's being sold to her, it definitely makes me more excited for this episode and more interested in the episode as a whole. Another thing that this makes this episode a little bit more interesting is that the fact that all the villains of the weeks from this season are banded together with Barry in order to escape from Amunet Black, or at least that's what I think's going on from the trailer. The synopsis doesn't say that at all. In fact, I'm just going to read the synopsis real quick. After hearing that Amunet has struck a deal to buy all the metahumans in Iron Heights, Barry must decide if he should expose his powers in order to save his cellmates. After a visit from an old friend, Ralph is reminded of his shady past and wonders if he's really a changed man. So the first part says that Amunet has struck a deal to buy all the metahumans in Iron Heights. What it doesn't say, and it leaves this out probably to avoid spoilers, it doesn't say that they know that Barry is one of those metahumans. And when it says Barry must decide if he should expose his powers in order to save his cellmates, those cellmates are the other metahumans, being the villains of the week. Villains of the week from the season, meaning the bus metas that the Thinker created. The villains of the week, the metahumans that Barry's teaming up with in this episode to break out of prison are Ramsey Deacon, aka Kilgore from episode 2, which I thought was the worst villain of the week ever, or at least he was. Peggy Sharp, aka Hazard from episode 3, Black Bison, aka Mita Shaitan from episode 6, and also Silbert Rundine, aka Dwarf Star from the last episode, being episode 12. Those are the villains of the week that he's teaming up with in this episode. Off the top of my head, I don't think there were any other villain of the weeks from this season other than the ones that died, like Fallout. Fallout died. I'm pretty sure he died, so that's why he's not here. And these are the only villains of the week from this season that didn't die. Most of them are pretty okay characters. I think that Dwarf Star has interesting powers. The rest, not really. The rest are pretty bad characters. I'm guessing that at least one of them will die, probably redeem themselves and die in this episode to get the rest out, because I feel like they do that. That's something that they do on these shows. They redeem villains a lot. So I'm guessing that either Kilgore, Black Bison, Hazard, or Dwarf Star will sacrifice themselves in order to get the rest of the metahumans out. But that does raise the question, will Barry get out of prison in this episode? So we don't actually have any clues into whether or not he will get out of prison. The next episode is called Subject 9, which I'm guessing is the 9th bus meta, and the one after that is called Enter Flash Time, which features a lot of speedsters. One after that is called Run Iris Run, and that's the episode where Iris gets her powers. Pretty sure they're going to be temporary, but none of the titles indicate anything as to whether or not Barry will get out of prison, and neither do and there are no synopses for any episode after this one. So this is pure speculation, but if I had to guess, I'd guess that yeah, this is the episode he gets out of prison, because I don't think they'd continue the storyline longer than this. I think they should, like that would be only 3 episodes that he's in prison. I think they should last it longer, but I'm speculating that they won't. I'm speculating that he will probably get out of prison. He is out of prison already. He's being sold to Amunet Black, so either way, he's out of prison. But I'm guessing that he's going to probably escape from Amunet Black and become a free man again, or probably a fugitive, because if he's out of jail already and he probably can't prove that he was sold to Amunet Black, he's already a fugitive, so there's no point in going back to prison. So that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to do with this storyline is that he's out of prison, he's escaped from Miami to Black, but he is a fugitive and he can't do anything about that. Another question is, how does he get out of this whole situation? Well, we see in the trailer and also in the promotional photos that he is getting help from, or he's creating a plan with the villains of the week, with Kilgore, Hazard, all those people, and trying to get out. Another thing is that you see here, Ralph Dibny is being attacked by Blacksmith. Now they might have edited the trailer to make it look like that, because they do that a lot in trailers where they make it look like somebody is fighting another guy, but it turns out they're not in the episode. But I'm guessing that Ralph Dibny here is actually fighting Blacksmith, aka Amita Black, and the reason that he's doing that is because either Cecile and Iris started investigating the whole thing with Barry not being there, because you see there at the beginning of the trailer that Cecile and Iris go to check on Barry, but he's not there. Warden Wolf tries to cover it up in some way, but I'm guessing that they won't believe him. And because of that, the Team Flash, aka Vibe, Elongated Man, Killer Frost, Iris, Joe, all those people start investigating this whole thing and figure out that Barry is with Amita Black, or is at least being sold by Amita Black. What will actually probably happen is, if Barry does get out in this episode, the way he does is by two groups of people. One group is trying to break in and then get him out. That's Team Flash. Another group is just trying to break out. That's Barry and the other metahumans. But if that does happen, I think that Team Flash will fail in trying to get him out, and in the end, Barry has to do it on his own. The reason I think that is because you see in the trailer that Ralph is the one that goes to save him. I don't know why Cisco and Caitlin are doing that. They have their reasons, I'm guessing. But since Ralph is probably the only one who could go save him, since he's the only one in the trailer they could see trying to save him, he has his own separate story in this episode, because in the synopsis it says, after a visit from an old friend, Ralph is reminded of his shady past and wonders if he's really a changed man. What can lead to that is, first of all, he fails to save Barry, and then he gets a visit from his old friend, and that reminds him that he wonders if he's really a changed man because he failed to save Barry, and his old friend reminds him as well. The fact that he's preoccupied with a separate storyline may also be a factor to the fact that he and Team Flash fails to save Barry, and Barry is on his own with the villains of the week, with the metahumans trying to get out of Iron Heights. So one more thing I have to touch on this trailer, or more specifically the synopsis, is that it says Barry must decide if he should expose his powers in order to save his cellmates. So his cellmates being the villains of the week in this case. I actually expected it to be his actual cellmates, like Big Sur and all those people, but it turns out that it's not. That's another reason I think that he gets out of prison in this episode, because the whole Big Sur thing is already over, so there's really nothing in prison at all for him. So he probably will get out. And also, why would they do this whole thing if he's just gonna go back to prison? So I definitely think that either he will be working for Amunet or he will get out. But does he actually expose his powers in order to save his cellmates? I'm gonna say that he probably does. I'm gonna guess like I said, that the villains, or at least some of them, redeem themselves. One of them sacrifices themselves. But Barry has to reveal his powers in order to save one of them, and then that might create problems, or that might create the fact that those villains probably will not share his secret because he helped them. But it also might create the fact that now that they know he's the Flash, they won't want to work with him. That might happen also, but I doubt it, because why would they not want to work with the Flash if the Flash is helping them get out? So I'm guessing that, yeah, it won't create any problems with the episode, and it will even more so cement the fact that these villains, or at least some of them, will probably redeem themselves in this episode. The one I really want to die is Kilgore, because I do not like him. So I'm actually excited for this episode. Like I said, I wasn't that excited for this episode because I thought it was just going to be a plain old Amita Black Blacksmith episode, but it turns out that it's so much more interesting than that, and this whole thing with Barry and the villains of the week working together to get this whole prison break, that's definitely something that I'm excited to see. But let me know what you're excited to see in this episode in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.